Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kody Brown of Sister Wives has reportedly altered history to protect his own ego throughout the breakdown of his multiple marriages, and now he's just treating his ex-wives cruelly. Meri Brown, Christine Brown, Janelle Brown, and Robyn Brown were Kody's first 4 wives. They set out to demonstrate that polygamy could be successful, if done properly. Cracks didn't appear until Sister Wives Season 16, despite the show following the family for 19 seasons. The first wife to formally go was Christine, who was followed by Meri and Janelle. Even now, Kody and Robyn are still monogamous. Kody has had a hard time returning to normal after his divorces. He appeared to be caught off guard by the breakups, even though the majority of Sister Wives watchers were aware that they were inevitable. Kody has chosen to rewrite history rather than take responsibility for his faults, and his most significant admission was that, other from Robyn, he never truly loved any of his spouses. Kody is obviously continuing to use this as a means of harming his ex-wives. During the one-on-one episodes of Sister Wives Season 19, Kody waxed poetic about meeting Robyn and falling in love with her despite having 3 other wives. In a video that TLC posted to TikTok, Kody talked about how Robyn and he were in true love, but that a lot of people, probably including his ex-wives, wanted to ruin it for him. Kody told how he was with his other wife one day when he saw Robyn at church. He claimed that he was unable to look away from her once their eyes met. According to Robyn, when he glanced at her, a bolt of lightning shot through her body. When they talked about it one-on-one, Kody started crying. "When God is your wingman, you can't lose," he said to Suki. "I hold the recollection of it all in the highest regard." Although Christine claimed that it was comparable to their first meeting, Kody makes it clear that he had never experienced this feeling when he first met any of his previous spouses. In a way, it devalues his other marriages by making his encounter with Robyn so opulent and romantic. He implies that he did not feel that way with his previous marriages by expressing how safe and vulnerable he felt with Robyn. They're trying to make Robyn feel superior by claiming that Kody didn't experience a strike of lightning when he first met Meri, Christine, and Janelle. He's attempting to convey that they weren't as unique as Robyn. One more way to harm them? He never loved them, he said. Kody acknowledges that he was angry when he shouted those things. In retrospect, he claimed it was a response to the suffering he was experiencing, but this was untrue. Nevertheless, throughout the season, he reiterated the sentiment. Kody would declare, "I've only ever loved Robyn out of all my wives," and then retract that statement. "I don't know what kind of state of mind I was, other than super angry," he remarked during the one-on-one. "All 3 of them were adored by me. I cherished each one of them." The fact that Kody only told Meri and Robyn about his sexual experience in college is another subject that comes up during the one-on-one. Since they were young lovers, and he felt secure in Meri's company, he had told her. He claimed that Robyn's intuition told her to ask him about it, and he told her the truth. Kody repeatedly states that he didn't feel safe with Janelle or Christine, but that he felt safe, enough to discuss it with Robyn. Kody is currently utilizing Robyn's amazing personality and his amazing marriage to disparage his previous marriages. Because of all the pushback he got from his previous spouses, he claimed that falling in love with Robyn was painful. Since it demonstrated how dysfunctional their marriages were, Kody doesn't seem to understand that his ex-wives' responses were typical. Any woman would feel betrayed in that situation as well. Sister Wives has come to what many are referring to as its inevitable conclusion after 19 seasons of drama, heartbreak, and changing familial relationships. The Season 19 tells 4th and last segment all of them may have put an end to not just a season but the Brown family's whole history, as we know it. Viewers are questioning whether the program has finally reached its end in light of real-life tragedies, acrimonious divisions, and worn-out themes. From polygamist to solo performer, Kody Brown. Kody Brown has stated unequivocally that he is no longer interested in plural marriages for the first time in the lengthy history of the show. The divisive patriarch stated in his one-on-one tell-all interview that he would not pursue that course of action even if the chance came up again. That is a dramatic change from the man who formerly claimed that his belief in multiple marriages was prompted by God. His final wife, Robyn Brown, is still amenable to the way of life. If it were up to her, she acknowledged, she would still try. However, it's clear that things have changed. The man Robyn is currently married to has stopped looking for other wives and is only interested in her. He was not hesitant to defend his divine love for Robyn, even going so far as to say so. One blog post said, he even gets mad for being slapped for loving her. However, his ex-wives are not included in that love. Breaks that are not reparable. Kody's relationships with Janelle, Christine, and Meri have gotten worse over time. According to several fans, Kody's particularly nasty tone anytime her name was mentioned can be explained by the fact that Christine allegedly filed for child support prior to taping the tell-all. Additionally, the long-standing conflict over Coyote Pass has been settled. The property sold for $1.5 million after becoming a battlefield for unresolved grievances and unfulfilled promises. Meri and Janelle split a quarter of the sale. Kody's plot seems to be almost complete, as there is no more property to quarrel over or wives to make amends with, unless TLC chooses to continue filming his complaints and regrets, of course. Kody himself has said that he is finished. He simply wants his ex-wives to move on and stop talking about him, as he stated clearly at the tell-all. Have fans had enough already? Online, the discussion among fans has changed from conjecture to resignation. The sentiment that many lifelong watchers appear to share was encapsulated in one social media thread. The plot has lost its flair. One fan commented, "I've had enough of the same old nonsense. I haven't experienced that since the years of catfishing." Another commented, frustrated by the show's repetitive narrative, "I'm watching a lot of the show again. Now I've returned to my catfishing ways. And every time it comes up, they bring up the fact that it happened as if it had never been brought up before, which I find annoying. Thank heavens, not everyone has dementia. Others, however, think the network should resign because there is too much money at stake. No. A bank is being made. They won't stop it until it stops producing that dollar. Additionally, spin-offs are being discussed, especially ones that would follow the ex-wives as they transition out of polygamy. One admirer questioned, "Do you think they'll do a spin-off for the divorcees?" I would watch that, but I won't be doing any more KNR. However, the season's emotional burden was too much for many, particularly in the wake of Garrison Brown's untimely death. Someone wrote, "I sincerely hope it's over. The show is completely different from what it was at first. I honestly don't want to watch anymore after Garrison's passing. The children in the family have probably suffered because of the fame, in addition to the poisonous dynamics inside the family as a whole. What happens next? It's difficult to fathom what story remains after the patriarch completely embraces monogamy, the family is split up, and the land is sold. The emotional and narrative storylines that previously made Sister Wives interesting are either resolved or exhausted, despite TLC's best efforts to cram a few more episodes into what's left. One thing is certain. The era of Sister Wives as we knew it may finally be coming to an end, whether it marks the end of the Brown family's history or the start of new individual endeavors for the women. In the ever-evolving chaos that is the world of Sister Wives, Kody Brown has once again ignited a firestorm, not with a new wife, a shocking split, or an unexpected reconciliation, but with his words. Words that are cutting, revisionist, dismissive, and perhaps most painfully, dishonest in the eyes of the very women who helped build the Brown family name into a reality TV institution. As season 19 looms with its tell-all anticipation and emotional reckoning, Kody's latest round of public commentary, peppered throughout interviews, behind-the-scenes confessionals, and social media soundbites, has unveiled a disturbing pattern that fans and family alike are calling out for what it is, a deliberate rewriting of history that erases the pain, devotion, and loyalty of the very women who once stood beside him through thick and thin. Christine, Janelle, and Meri aren't just being overlooked, they're being rewritten out of their own stories. And viewers, who've watched for over a decade as these women endured emotional neglect, disconnection, and spiritual confusion, are not having it. Kody's new narrative is cleaner, simpler, and disturbingly self-serving. According to his recent retellings, the plural family model was a noble experiment doomed from the start, a romanticized ideal that only worked in theory and was always undermined by jealousy, dysfunction, and women who just couldn't get along. In Kody's version of events, it wasn't his behavior that caused the unraveling. It was their incompatibility, their resentment, their emotional immaturity. He paints himself as the misunderstood patriarch, burdened with responsibility, longing for unity, while his wives fractured the dream. And as he leans into this sanitized version of events, he erases a central, undeniable truth. These women didn't fail the family. He failed them. Over and over. Let's be clear, Christine didn't leave because she was never cut out for polygamy, as Kody now insists. She left because she spent years begging for affection, validation, and presence from a husband who continually chose Robyn over her. She left after being gaslit into believing her needs were unreasonable, her emotions inconvenient, her sacrifices invisible. She left after Kody, when faced with her pain, told her he wasn't attracted to her anymore. That wasn't a mutual drift. That was abandonment, emotionally and spiritually, dressed up in the language of theological growth. Janelle, too, is now cast as someone who is more like a business partner than a wife, in Kody's convenient retelling, a line that's not only cruel, but wholly inaccurate. Janelle stood by him through financial struggles, raised children under challenging conditions, and deferred her own emotional needs for decades to maintain stability in the name of the greater family. And Meri? Meri is reduced to the legal wife who had an emotional affair, as if that single moment defines her entire role in Kody's life. Never mind the years of infertility heartbreak, the early years of anchoring the family's foundation, or her struggle to regain dignity after Robyn entered the scene and quickly became the real, legal wife Kody emotionally married. The revisionism is brutal. It's not just that Kody has changed his mind, it's that he's rewriting the script to remove any blame from his own actions. Viewers have watched him demand loyalty while giving little in return, offer conditional love that disappears under pressure, and weaponize religion to justify his behavior. But now, in interviews, he's the enlightened man who just wanted peace, who was forced into separation by combative wives who didn't understand him. And that reframing doesn't just hurt, it invalidates years of suffering, patience, and faith. It turns Christine's brave exit into selfishness, Janelle's independence into coldness, Meri's heartbreak into scandal. It's erasure cloaked in confession. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of Kody's narrative pivot is how easily he moves on from decades of shared life. He speaks of his former wives with a detachment that borders on cruel indifference. We just weren't compatible. They didn't really believe in the family anymore. They changed. But what about the changes he made? What about the shift from equal time and equal love to 24/7 devotion to Robyn and her children? What about the hard pivot into monogamy light, where every wife but one was left scrambling for attention or wondering where they went wrong? That version of Kody never appears in his storytelling. It's not that he evolved, it's that they failed to keep up. And in doing so, he has robbed Christine, Janelle, and Meri of the right to tell their own truths. Fans are noticing. Social media is ablaze with fury as longtime viewers rally around the ex-wives, calling out the hypocrisy in real time. Reddit threads dissect every contradictory statement, comparing what Kody said then with what he says now. We saw Christine ask him for intimacy. We saw him say no. We saw her cry, one fan wrote. And now he's acting like she blindsided him? Give me a break. Others have taken it further, organizing #JusticeForTheExWives campaigns across Twitter and Instagram, demanding TLC give Christine, Janelle, and even Meri their own spin-off, one where their narratives aren't filtered through the lens of a man desperate to save face. Christine, to her credit, hasn't taken the bait, publicly at least. She's focused on her new marriage to David Woolley, her career, and her peace. But in a recent podcast interview, she couldn't help but take a subtle swipe. Sometimes people have to lie to themselves to avoid feeling guilty, she said, eyes steady, smile calm. But the rest of us, we lived the truth. Every day. Janelle, 2, has kept her comments measured but firm. History doesn't change just because someone tells it differently now, she posted. We know what happened. So, do the viewers. And Meri, often the most quiet, broke her silence recently with a pointed quote on Instagram. Be careful with your words. Once said, they can only be forgiven, not forgotten. Fans knew exactly who she meant. What makes Kody's revisionism so uniquely damaging is how it undermines the very foundation of what Sister Wives was supposed to represent. This wasn't just a show, it was a lens into plural marriage, into a lifestyle that demanded trust, communication, and balance. The show worked because it was messy and real. It showed the fractures and the faith, the love and the limits. But now, Kody's reframing isn't just dishonest, it's betrayal of the premise. By painting himself as the noble martyr and the women as unstable or incompatible, he turns the family journey into a cautionary tale about why he was right all along, which feels less like truth and more like narcissistic self-preservation. There is still time for Kody to change course, to own his part without bitterness, to acknowledge the pain he caused without adding more. But if recent behavior is any indication, he's digging in. And the longer he stays on this path, the more he alienates the very people who once believed in him, not just his ex-wives, but the fans who supported the show, the family, and yes, even Kody himself. Because love doesn't just dissolve. It erodes. Slowly. Relentlessly. And when history is rewritten, those left behind aren't just forgotten. They're erased. And Christine, Janelle, and Meri? They're not going quietly. After nearly 2 decades of watching the unraveling of what was once touted as a bold reimagining of modern family dynamics, fans of Sister Wives are now increasingly convinced that Season 19 is more than just another chapter. It's the final goodbye, the swan song of a series that began as a controversial TLC experiment in plural marriage and slowly transformed into a raw, emotional dissection of spiritual failure, broken trust, and female resilience. From the very first episode in 2010, when viewers were introduced to the seemingly unified household of Kody Brown and his 4 wives, Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn, it was clear that Sister Wives was different. The family welcomed cameras into their world with a disarming honesty that challenged norms and sparked national conversation about polygamy. But fast forward to 2025, and everything that once made the show groundbreaking now feels fractured beyond repair. 3 of the 4 original wives have left. The Brown family is no longer united under one roof, or even in one state, and Kody Brown, once the charismatic patriarch, now stands largely isolated, with only Robyn remaining by his side, and even that relationship shows signs of deep strain. So when fans tuned into the latest teaser trailers, tell-all announcements, and social media leaks about Sister Wives Season 19, what they saw didn't feel like another messy chapter in a long-running saga. It felt like a funeral procession, a series coasting toward its final act with the emotional weight of a slow-motion collapse everyone saw coming. Longtime viewers have taken to Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, and podcast airwaves with one loud, resounding refrain. It's over. Season 19 is the last ride. And the evidence feels too overwhelming to ignore. First, the tone of the show has shifted dramatically. No longer is it framed by hopeful interviews about building a plural empire, or sweet moments of familial bonding on road trips, or emotional reconciliations at family therapy retreats. Instead, Season 19's promotional materials are drenched in finality, dramatic music, phrases like facing the truth, no going back, and what's left to fight for flashing across the screen like gravestones for a dream long dead. And then there's the cast themselves. Christine is remarried and radiantly happy in Utah with David Woolley, practically glowing in every interview where she references the word freedom. Janelle, embracing her independence, has stepped into a new era of entrepreneurial strength, traveling, connecting with fans directly on social media, and refusing to play the martyr in Kody's narrative any longer. Meri, quietly but firmly, has also shut that chapter. She may not have found love again publicly, but she has found peace, and that's more than enough for now. Only Robyn remains in the house with Kody, and even she appears broken, visibly exhausted by the emotional toll of becoming both the lightning rod for fan hate and the last standing pillar in a crumbling empire. It's no longer about 4 wives and 1 man navigating polygamy. It's about 1 man standing amid emotional ruins, trying to convince himself he's still the hero of the story.